Good evening, this is Carolyn, and welcome to Scrapbooking with a Twist. We are on, I think it's day 15 of our 20 days of doing our base pages. So I'm sure by now you know that this is a hop on Ginger's Corner, and that you can watch all kinds of creators do this. You can go over to Ginger's Corner and join that group and get all kinds of inspiration, join our hops, join our embellishment swaps. Lots of fun, lots of fun. This is day 15. This is the companion page to the one that I made yesterday. And let's see if I can find it. I'll show it to you. Here is the page that I made yesterday. And this is going to be the companion page to it. I made these two pages in my base page videos. And I had to adjust one of the pictures in that one to make it fit where I put my base. This one, there wasn't any adjusting, so I'm just going to let it be off. It's not going to fill it. But because this is the companion page to that, that's the picture I need there, and so that's just how it's going to be. And then, if you, I had laid this out, and I cut these out, a long time ago, not too long after I did the base page video. I went through and chose pictures and threw some embellishments in there to try to do, and I decided that I was, that it was going to be that camping trip where they took their camper for the first time, their new one, and so I named it Maiden Voyage, and I cut all these letters out, and then I just threw them in the bag. And so today, when I got this out to do it, I'm like, what did I intend for that title to be? And I like to never figured out what my title was supposed to be. So, yeah. You need to write yourself notes. And a lot of times I do. Most of the time I do. But this time I didn't. And I was like, what in the world did I cut out? And I finally figured it out. So I know this is how I want my pictures. And this one's going to be really simple because I'm only using like those smiley faces that I put on that other one. That's all I'm using for embellishments. That, and I'm going to embellish my journaling a little bit, and that's going to be it. This one's going to be really simple. So this is kind of my main picture. So let's get it up here. And I'm going to put a couple of smiley faces in around it, and that's it. This one going down here. I've double matted, not triple matted. I double matted these pictures. I matted them in white and then in the aqua, just to kind of give them a pop against that yellow. And especially this one, since it had the aqua on the yellow. I used up so many scraps doing this base page hop. It really, really, really helped me use some scraps. And then I have my journaling, which I'm going to put right here. This little camper is a camper that matches the one over here. And there was a little camper behind that truck, so I just put it on top of it. I'm going to tuck this little frame in here somewhere. It doesn't show too much, but it was kind of the frame that went with this little Gone Fishing. There was all kinds of things at this little campground for them to do. Fishing was one of them, and then they had a splash pad and a regular swimming pool and all kinds of stuff. So they had a really good time. But I think I want that like that. So let's do parts of this. Man, that's a really good journal thing on the back of that. So let's do parts of this so I can still tuck, because I've got to get that frame glued in under there. Then we can glue that corner down. I just cut, this was left on the paper after I took that little Gone Fishing sign off, so I just trimmed it out and decided to use it for a frame. Sometimes the junk pieces on our embellishment pages are usable too. And then I'm gonna, this little Gone Fishing sign is gonna go right down here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that down. So I know that's where that goes. And then the smiley faces and everything, we're just gonna have to figure out. Okay. All right, that's got that. Let's do our arrow down here at the bottom. This is gonna be where my title is gonna sit. I don't want it all the way across, so I'm gonna pull it back just a little and then we'll trim that off. And this arrow, I had an arrow on that other page up under the camper, and I thought, well, I'll just kind of stay with that arrow theme. So I just cut this out freehand with all the wibbly wobbly, rather than trying to make it straight. I just cut it out like that because I wanted my Maiden Voyage to be in the aqua, and to do that I really needed it to sit on something. Let's go ahead and see about getting our title on there. That was so funny though, when I pulled all these letters out of that bag, I went, what in the world was I thinking when I did not write what that title was going to be and just had those letters loose in there. Okay, that looks pretty good. And I'm not going to worry about putting them straight. They're going to be a little, I'm just going to let them be. So while I'm doing those, while I'm gluing those down on this title, let's do the twist. The twist tonight comes from Romans 12:12, and it is, be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, and faithful in prayer. This is pretty powerful advice. The Apostle Paul was writing to the letter to the church in Rome, and this was the advice that he gave them. Be joyful in hope, and to be patient in affliction, and to be faithful in prayer. The church in Rome, the Christians in Rome, were being persecuted bad, and so their life was just in chaos. They were in danger, I mean real danger at times, depending on who the emperor was and who the different government leaders were. Their life was really in chaos and often really in just imminent danger. And so Paul was writing this to them like 2,000 years ago, and it still applies to us today. They needed encouragement just to survive life and to try to thrive in spite of the situation. And so they needed encouragement, and that's what Paul was doing when he wrote this, to give them this assurance and encouragement. So this advice works for us. Our lives are often in chaos. I can't hardly think and glue at the same time. Our lives are often in chaos, and even though it was 2,000 years ago, it still works for us just as well today. So rejoice in hope. We have hope because we have a Savior that loved us so much that he died for us. So we have hope. So we can rejoice in hope. Even when things are tough, we can rejoice in hope. And then patient in tribulation. We all have troubles, and if we don't right now, if we just wait long enough, we will have trouble. It comes to all of us sooner or later. And then constant in prayer. We need to refuel in prayer. Things are going to happen. It's just the way life is. And so we need keep ourselves refueled in prayer. This is how we can manage our chaos and just manage the trials and the hardships that come along in this life. Good advice for the Romans 2,000 years ago, and good advice for us today. Okay. Almost have this title finished. Almost. One more letter. My little grandson was supposed to be in a Veterans Day program today, and he got sick, was running fever, and he couldn't do it. I came home early from my sister's so I could go to it, and then he got sick. But that too is life, I guess. All right, let's turn this over and trim that off. And then we're going to put our smiley faces on there. And like I said, this one is really simple. I trimmed this. It was kind of a wide border in that brown. I trimmed it off and it had this little aqua polka dot. And so I'm going to use some of it just to kind of put around some of this stuff. It kind of helps those smiley faces show up. And so I'm just going to do that. Yeah, let's do that one right there. Just going to tuck it under and give one of those little smiley faces a place to sit. And then I'm going to do the same thing right over here. I didn't want that wide brown border, so I trimmed it off, and when it flipped over, I went, I think I can use that. Okay. I think I'm going to tuck this one just right down under here, just as a little layer under there. And then, like I said, these will kind of give those smiley faces, because on this yellow, it's hard to see them. And that's really all I'm using for embellishment. I got those most of those juvenile pages of that 6x6 pad used. Okay. All right, there's that. Now we've got our smiley faces. Oh, I didn't get this one down. Get it up in under there. Okay. And we've got a bunch of smiley faces. Let's start with this one, because I know it has to go down here somewhere, because he was on an edge, and I've got to put him where he's tucked under. So let's put him like right down here. Yeah, let's put him right there. Okay, so that's got him in place. And this one, I'm going to put up here, like right under here, because he was on an edge. So he's coming out from under there. Okay. So I think we need another one like right over here. Maybe it can be kind of coming out from under also of that main picture. Then we'll glue that corner down. This isn't very eventful, just using these smiley faces, but it's what I've got, and I'm going to keep going with it. And it ties it to that other page. So I'm going to put this little guy. Now I could, if I can find one, put a little bit of brown if I wanted to ink just around the edge of that, just to give it a little bit of definition from the yellow paper. Stick him right there since he's cut off. And then I want one over here on this corner. I think I'm going to put him on foam, actually. He's kind of in the corner of this little frame. That little frame doesn't show up very much, but I just wanted to use it since I had it with this. And there's a little bit of foam already in this little embellishment, so I'll put him up on foam. Then I've got, let's play with these up here. See what we can do with them. Or this is all I have left, so we got to do with what we've got, because this is it. This is it. I think we need 3 up here. Well, we don't need that one. That's too much tucked. Let's see if we can do this. Maybe something like that. And come down here with those. Let's try that. I think I'm going to go with that. Like I said, this one is really, really simple, because all I'm using for embellishment really is just these smiley faces that I cut out of that 6x6, but I wanted to use it, and this ties it to the other page, and so that's going to be how it is. And it got their trip documented. So not very eventful, but it's done, it's documented, and I think it'll be cute with that other page. And so there it is, Maiden Voyage. And I hope you liked it. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for dropping by my channel. I appreciate the fact that you spent a little bit of time with me. You could have been many, many, many other places. I hope that you check out the other creators in this All About That base. It is so much fun. and so many, I have thoroughly enjoyed watching the other creators. So have a blessed day and be a blessing to someone else. Bye-bye.